So this is how it starts. Not with a fiery press conference, not with an explicit statement of defiance, but with a quiet, composed, razor-sharp comment dropped like a match into a powder keg. Caitlin Clark didn't yell. She didn't throw her teammates under the bus. But what she did was far more powerful. She spoke with the precision of a surgeon and the intent of a superstar who knows exactly where she stands. Yeah, I mean, it'll be nice probably not to have to bring the ball up, but like I said, that's what I'm best at. That wasn't just a casual response. It was a warning, a chess move disguised as a soundbite. Clark didn't flinch. She drew her line in the sand, and suddenly, the entire Indiana Fever organization was on notice. And that's exactly what makes this moment so explosive. On the surface, this might seem like just another rookie navigating her way through a turbulent season. But if you look closer, what's unfolding is nothing short of a power struggle for the soul of a franchise. This isn't about basketball anymore. This is about control, legacy, and the dangerous game of silencing a generational talent who just so happens to be the most important player the WNBA has seen in decades. The stakes? They're astronomical. One misstep from the Fever, and they don't just lose a season, they lose their future. Reports are surfacing, whispers turning into roars, that Caitlin Clark is being deliberately frozen out by her own teammates. Think about that. One of the greatest playmakers to ever touch a basketball, being ignored, looked off, cut out of the system that was supposed to revolve around her. And this isn't speculation. Fans have seen it. Analysts have seen it. Clips are circulating online like wildfire. Possessions where Clark is wide open, calling for the ball, only to watch her teammates force up bad shots like they're trying to prove a point. This isn't just bad basketball. It's personal. The locker room isn't just tense. It's fractured. According to sources close to the team, there have been heated confrontations behind closed doors, halftime blow-ups, players openly questioning Clark's role and status. And the root of it all? Resentment. The kind that festers when a once quiet franchise suddenly becomes the center of the basketball universe because of one player. And that player? She's not just outperforming everyone else. She's overshadowing them. Whether it's intentional or not, that kind of spotlight breeds envy. And envy unchecked turns toxic fast. The first visible casualty of the Civil War, Dana Bonner, the veteran brought in to steady the ship. A player with championship pedigree who was supposed to guide this young, explosive roster into a new era. But after just 9 games, she was gone, disappeared like smoke. The official explanation? The fit didn't work. But let's be real, that's just PR speak for this situation is a disaster. You don't walk away from a contender unless something is deeply broken. And Bonner? She saw it all. The dysfunction, the division, the silent sabotage of the team's brightest star. And she got out before the implosion became permanent. But here's the twist. The betrayal didn't start in the locker room. No, it started at the very top, with Fever President Kelly Krauskopf. A press conference that was supposed to project confidence instead laid the groundwork for chaos. Krauskopf didn't just talk about winning games. She talked about building a brand, an enduring brand, she said. Something like Apple. That's not leadership. That's corporate jargon wrapped in glitter and sold as vision. And in that moment, the message was clear. Caitlin Clark wasn't the future. The brand was. The team, the system, the logo, not the superstar wearing it. You might be thinking, okay, but branding isn't betrayal. Fair point. But branding becomes betrayal when it's used to minimize the impact of your once-in-a-generation player. When it's used to justify a system that doesn't elevate but suppresses. And that's exactly what happened. Krauskopf's words gave cover to everyone in the organization who wanted to prove that the Fever could be bigger than just one player. That they didn't need Caitlin Clark to win. That's the kind of thinking that breaks dynasties before they even begin. And then there's the coach, Stephanie White, the architect tasked with building this new era of Fever basketball. And what's her vision? It's not hard to see. Just go back and listen to how she gushes over ball movement during a Mavericks game. How she praises the system when Luka Doncic, a player very similar to Clark in terms of usage and dominance, is off the floor. That ball is moving. Multiple players getting involved. You can hear it. The admiration, the preference, a style of basketball that is everything Caitlin Clark is not. Now, look, we're not saying White is a bad coach, but she is the wrong coach for this team. right now. You don't hire a coach who loves balance and quality in ball distribution and expect her to fully unleash a heliocentric juggernaut like Clark. That's not strategy. That's sabotage. And whether it's intentional or not, the results speak for themselves. A system built to spread the ball around, to avoid making one player the centerpiece, will never let Clark be what she's destined to be. And Clark, she sees it. That's why her quote matters so much. It's not just about bringing the ball up. It's a coded message, a challenge, a declaration. I know what I'm best at, and I'm not backing down. That's her calling out the coach, the system, the very structure designed to cage her brilliance. She's not begging. She's asserting. In that one moment, she took back control of the narrative, and she did it without raising her voice. That's power. That's leadership. That's the kind of statement that shakes walls without breaking windows. But what does this mean for the future? Because the clock is already ticking. Caitlin Clark's rookie contract runs through 2027. That gives the Fever a few short years to fix this mess, or risk losing the only thing keeping them relevant. Make no mistake, Clark isn't just a player. She's a movement. The sold-out arenas? That's her. The TV ratings? That's her. The explosion in jersey sales, merchandise, ticket demand? All her. You let her walk, and all of that walks with her. And the Fever? They fade back into irrelevance overnight. Fans are already choosing sides. And they're not picking the team. They're picking Clark. Social media is ablaze with support. Comment sections, highlight reels, breakdowns, and freeze-outs. All of it has one common theme: justice for Caitlin. And if the Fever front office doesn't feel that pressure, they're either delusional or deaf. This is no longer about basketball decisions. This is about keeping the only star that matters. And if they fail, they don't just lose a player. They lose a generation. So what happens now? Does Stephanie White adjust her system? Does the front office change its tone? Or are we barreling toward an inevitable showdown where Clark, tired of being sidelined, demands more than just touches? She demands a new direction? That's the million-dollar question. And every game, every possession, every eye roll from a teammate that ignores her on the court pushes us closer to that breaking point. Because when that breaking point hits, when the dam finally bursts, it won't come quietly. It'll be seismic. It'll be visible on the court, audible in the post-game interviews, and explosive across every WNBA headline in the country. It'll be Caitlin Clark, not just a polite rookie or the respectful franchise face, but the assertive leader stepping fully into her power. Because you can only ask someone to dim their light for so long before they decide they're done playing small. And when that moment arrives, the question won't be how it happened. It'll be why no one stopped it. Why no one listened when Clark subtly said, "That's what I'm best at." Because she wasn't just referring to basketball. She was talking about being the center, the core, the sun around which everything should revolve. And here's where the Fever risk everything. This is no longer theoretical. The writing is on the wall, and it's written in bold. Caitlin Clark isn't just good. She's transcendent. She's not just bringing attention to the team. She's changing the entire landscape of women's sports. And for some reason, instead of building around that, they're fighting it. They're testing her patience. They're forcing her to conform to a system that dilutes her impact. It's like buying a Ferrari and insisting on using it for grocery runs through traffic. Sure, it'll drive, but that's not what it was made for. And eventually, that engine roars back. But here's the scariest part for Indiana. Clark doesn't need the Fever. The Fever need her. She has options. Cities that would kill to build a franchise around her. Brands that would triple their investment just to have her in the spotlight. Teammates that would embrace her leadership instead of resenting it. In a world where stars like LeBron, KD, and Steph Curry shape entire franchises, Clark holds that same potential for the WNBA. If the Fever can't recognize that, then they're not just blind, they're incompetent. The fans aren't waiting for press releases anymore. They're watching every game like it's a reality show. They see every cutaway, every ignored pass, every moment she waves for the ball and doesn't get it. And you better believe they're keeping score, because this generation of fans is smarter, more vocal, and far more loyal to players than the laundry. Jerseys come and go, franchises rebrand, but players are why people tune in. And right now, Clark is the only reason millions are watching the Fever, and you can see the divide growing. It's no longer just teammates versus Clark. It's the public versus the organization. There's a storm brewing. Commentators are starting to question coaching decisions. Reporters are digging into body language and minute allocations. And fans? Fans are loud. They're starting hashtags, flooding mentions, demanding accountability. This is a story that fades with the next news cycle. This is a movement, a reckoning, and it's only gaining momentum. And if you think Clark doesn't feel that support, think again. She knows every post, every tweet, every chant from the crowd when she steps onto the court. It's a signal that no matter what chaos brews inside that locker room, she's not alone. She's backed by a wave that won't be silenced. That's power, that's pressure, and that's leverage. The kind of leverage that reshapes franchises. The kind of leverage that forces decisions at the highest levels. So, what are the Fever really risking if they don't change course? Everything. Not just wins and losses, but cultural relevance, financial growth, legacy. Caitlin Clark could have been the pillar around which the next decade of WNBA dominance was built. Instead, she's being pushed to the margins by the very people who should be protecting her. And if she walks, so does the hope of building something legendary in Indiana. And don't think for a second that Clark hasn't considered this. She's calculated, measured, but not passive. That comment wasn't made on a whim. It was a test balloon floated with surgical precision to see who was paying attention, to see if the organization would get the message. And if they didn't, that balloon turns into a rocket, because Clark knows exactly what she brings to the table, and she won't beg for her own worth to be recognized. Every dynasty begins with a decision, a moment where an organization either commits fully to its star or lets ego, system, and outdated thinking get in the way. The Fever are standing at that exact crossroads. They can either restructure the offense to empower Clark or continue clinging to a philosophy that treats her as just another player. One path leads to history. The other leads to headlines about the biggest blunder in WNBA history. And make no mistake, this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about a narrative, a message being sent to every young girl watching, that even when you're the best, they'll try to silence you. That being elite might still get you frozen out if you're too bright, too bold, too transformative. That message, it's poison. And Clark, she's standing against it, not just for herself, but for everyone watching, wondering if there's a place for them in this game, which is why this story matters so much. Why every possession she's ignored becomes a symbol. Why every moment she asserts herself becomes a rallying cry. This isn't just about one team's drama. It's about the direction of the league itself. The WNBA has a golden opportunity in Clark, not just to grow, but to explode. But only if the league and its teams have the courage to center the very talent they claim to celebrate. Because here's the hard truth. If the Fever can't see what they have in Caitlin Clark, someone else will. Another franchise, another city, another organization with the vision and humility to build around a generational star. And when that happens, the Fever will be left not just with regrets, but with ruins. A cautionary tale about what happens when power is misused, brilliance is suppressed, and the future is allowed to walk out the door. So while Clark might have spoken in calm tones, make no mistake, her words were fire, controlled, precise, but burning all the same. And if the Fever don't adjust, if they continue to let ego and outdated systems steer the ship, then they better prepare for impact. Because the explosion won't come from outside. It'll come from within, from the very star they tried to contain. And when that day comes, when Clark finally makes a decision that enough is enough, the only thing more deafening than the crowd's reaction will be the silence inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The silence of missed opportunity. The silence of an empire that crumbled before it could ever rise. Because this isn't just basketball. This is legacy. This is war. And Caitlin Clark? She's already made her move. Now it's the Fever's turn. What they do next will define everything. This isn't just another sports story. It's a cautionary tale. A live-wire drama unfolding in real time. And if the Fever think they can ride this out, they're mistaken. The fans won't forget. The analysts won't ignore it. And Clark? She won't stay quiet. Not anymore. That silence you heard? That was the calm before the reckoning. Because the moment she spoke, even subtly, everything changed. And here's the bottom line. The Indiana Fever can still save this, but it's going to require humility, a complete realignment of vision and leadership. This franchise has one shot. One, to build around the most exciting talent in modern basketball. If they blow it, the WNBA will never forgive them. And neither will the fans who have turned Caitlin Clark into a phenomenon. This is the Crossroads. On one side, redemption, legacy, dynasty. On the other, collapse, regret, and a very public implosion that will haunt the Fever for decades. The clock is ticking. The pieces are in place. And the next move, it's not Caitlin's. It's theirs.